It's time now to check in with the day's business news. For that, we're joined by Jameel Ahmad, Chief Analyst at GTC. Jameel, how are the global markets trading? Are investors still wary, or are they shaking off the latest trade war concerns?
Well, after the panic at the beginning of the week, after the threats on the likes of Canada, Mexico, and of course China that retaliated, actually there's more calm in global markets, and that's as a result of the deals that were made specifically between the US and Mexico and the US and Canada, albeit that might actually just be a temporary deal given that there has been a deadline provided. Nonetheless, that has provided investors with some hope that actually a global trade war in some ways can be reduced, the probability as a result of this appearing to be more of a negotiation tactic rather than a reality of actually putting tariffs on other economies. With that said, we have had comments from US central bank officials come in this week warning about the impact of the threats of a potential trade war. And I would also point out that gold prices have hit more than one new record high this week. That suggests that investors are using gold as a hedge in case of more economic uncertainty in light of a potential trade war.
Meanwhile, the Bank of England is set to hand down its latest monetary policy decision this Thursday. What are we expecting?
There's around a 95% probability of the Bank of England, the UK central bank, cutting interest rates today. That would be the third interest rate cut in roughly the past 6 months. What investors are looking for, though, however, is guidance on what the Bank of England might do over the remainder of 2025. Of course, the UK Central Bank was a little bit later than the likes of the US Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank to cut interest rates last year. Although inflation is expected to edge a little bit higher in the United Kingdom over the coming months, economic momentum does appear to be tailing off. And I do think the Bank of England might signal another 2 interest rate cuts over the course of 2025, though of course they will be somewhat concerned about the threats of the global trade war.
And Jameel, tell us about some of the other key economic data to keep an eye on for the rest of the week.
Tomorrow, the main event is going to be the latest US monthly jobs report. Of course, this comes on the back of last month, where the United States added more than 250,000 jobs to its economy. That was a blockbuster number, and that led to substantially and drastically dialed back expectations over the US Federal Reserve cutting interest rates in 2025. We are now looking to see whether tomorrow's number provides more guidance as towards the momentum of the US economy. Of course, that's the first US monthly jobs report since President Trump returned to the White House, but also to provide more guidance on what the Federal Reserve might do over the course of 2025 in terms of US interest rates.
All right, Jameel Ahmad from GTC, thank you very much for that business update. Well, the CEO